Hello, Namaste. This is 𝐂𝐚𝐫𝐻 once again and welcome back to my channel 𝐂𝐦𝐩𝐚 Stock Analyst. So in today's video, I want to discuss regarding carbon border adjustment mechanism or the carbon emission regulation which is going to be implemented by European Commission or Europe for any metal, particularly steel and aluminium, those products coming into Europe or imported into Europe by the other countries, and its impact on those countries and those steel and the aluminium producers. But before that, I would just take 2 minutes regarding the current Israel Palestine Hamas, that war which has suddenly erupted in yesterday. So it will have, as per my view, it will have a huge and wider ramifications, and don't mistaken it for the short term regional based localized conflict. It is not going to be localized, it is going to be globalized, in the sense that this full world, it has the danger of full world coming into this fight, Muslim side and Christian side, and like that way the full world will be engulfed into. And the biggest problem also it can be because recently only Saudi and Israel had signed a treaty of friendship, or so-called, they were trying to normalize the relationship. And with this kind of war happening, it will be, I don't think so it will go ahead. And even if one likes it or not, but most of these Muslim nations will be supporting openly or behind the scenes on the Palestine side, and that way Israel will be supported by, say, Europe, USA and other countries. So it has the potential to bring full-fledged war into the Middle East, and very bad for the globally. So first reaction will be tomorrow I'd see market crash globally, stock market. And also for India's point of view, recently Adani Ports had purchased Haifa port of Israel for $1.5 billion. And if Israel gets into this and it prolongs, which looks like for a long time, I don't know how this operation Haifa port will be affected and how the investment of Adani will be affected. So that is one thing. And Ukraine will be forgotten forever. Now keep that in mind. It is gone. Russia-Ukraine war, it's kind of finished in a way. And Ukraine is forgotten because all attention will be on now Israel. And all Western countries' attention and money and aid will be on Israel. So that is one thing, and why market will crash. So let us come back to today's topic of CBAM. So first let me say that what is this carbon footprint? The Europe had started some few years before this carbon certificate trading, because if any steel producer or any aluminium or metal producer in the world, they have to buy certain carbon certificate because their emissions they don't know, right? Then Europe has set a standard of emission of 2.1 ton of carbon dioxide emission, CO2 emission per 1 ton production of steel. So that is the standardized. So any country exporting, because they can introduce these standardized norms for the European steel producers and European metal producers, they follow this. But outside, which is exported by the other countries, they cannot, nobody understands that what is their carbon emission. So to kind of have level playing field, or to reduce that environment production, as well as to promote green production technology and reduce carbon emission, these carbon certificates were introduced since last few years. So any exporting countries or the exporting producer, they generally trade into this carbon, they buy and they show that they have this much of credit of carbon certificates, and against that they sell this steel. So that is the adjustment, and that carbon you have to buy from. So there are trading happens in the Platts index and all these things. It's an open, like stock market, there is an open trading happen. So that is one thing. So what is carbon? So, but now what they are going to do is that they are going to introduce CBAM. So what is CBAM? Is that carbon border adjustment mechanism, it will make sure that whatever the European steel producers or the metal producers have implemented, they have invested a lot of money into upgrading their production technology, into reducing this carbon emission, into promoting this green technology. So that investment of billion dollars of all these European steel producers, so they should not be put at a disadvantage that they have spent that money, but they don't have anything to recover that investment. Because other countries like China, India, or Russia, so those steel producers may not have invested those kind of money to reduce emission, and still because of that, their prices are cheaper, and they keep on exporting to Europe, and European buyers buy, and that is how the European producers get at a disadvantage. So this CBAM, European Commission is going to implement from 2026, first to level playing field with these exporters, and second also to reduce carbon emission, and third that it will promote this green production technology throughout the world, because if you put tariff on import or the penalty, so those countries or those producers also will have to implement those carbon reduction production technology. They have to implement those into their production, steel production. So coming back to how it is going to be, there is no fixed yet, but from 2026 they are talking about that this CBAM tax can be from €100 to €200 also, or €300 per ton of steel or aluminium imported. So suppose Indian steel companies, say JSW or Tata Steel, or Russian steel company or Chinese steel companies, they export lot of this HRC, hot rolled coil material, to Europe. And who are the buyers in Europe? Most of this automobile manufacturer, European. Most of this white goods manufacturer. What is white goods? It's like TV, fridge, washing machine, microwave. It's all called electrical appliances. They all use this color coated or HRC sheet. Maximum of is imported, right? So these buyers will have to make sure that this, what is imported by them from these countries or from whichever producer, they have to pay a €100 to €300, whatever, it is still not yet, but from 2026 on those imported material. So ultimately this buyer is not going to pay, right? So it is the exporter company or the exporter country, they will have to pay this. So ultimately the price of export will increase. So right now whatever the say European producer was selling at €700, but Chinese or Indian producers were selling at €600 or €550 per ton, they will have to pay this extra carbon penalty or CBAM. They cannot, no more, they say that we buy carbon certificates, which currently they do from the market, and against that they show that we have buy from this, we have bought the certificates, and against that we are adjusting this. They will have to flatly, whatever the tariff will be decided, that penalty they will have to pay. And that is why the price of that export product from these companies will increase. So their competitiveness will reduce, and that's why their exports may be affected adversely, negatively, means it may come down, and also the profitability and the production, volumes may come down. So overall, this Chinese, Indian, Russian, these steel producers can be at a huge disadvantage. So this is, in short, this is the kind of carbon development and who will be impacted, which I told you that most of the impact will be on these export countries or the exporter like India, Indian steel producers, Indian aluminum producers, Chinese and Russian. So which is maximum exporter to the European market. So from 2026 it is this negative. This is just I wanted to give you one, because I don't think so anybody has explained. So this to share this my view regarding this CBAM I wanted to. So please, if you like this video, you please put a like and share it also, and please put into the comments whatever you want to ask or whatever you like also, you please write into the comments so that YouTube circulates it, promotes it, and maximum people gets benefited. And for personalized investment consultancy. It's on chargeable, nominal chargeable basis. You can contact me by email or by writing in my website. For blogs, you can read on my website www.stayanalyzed.com, and for day-to-day and the regular updates on economic, finance, or generally most of these market things, you can join my Telegram channel, 𝐤𝐻𝐻 Stock Analyst. Link is given below, down below. That's it from my side. Love you all. Ciao.